Okay, here I am back in the portable hideaway. Um, this is about love. Long time ago, I figured out that it's really easy to hate because there's only one way to hate. But it's really hard to love because there are so many different kinds of love. And they're definitely not all romantic. And people talk about having a relationship as if there was only one kind. And that's romantic. That's hogwash. If you interact with anything or anyone, you have a relationship for some period of time. They're not all the same length of time. They're not all the same intensity. But they all are relationships because you and this other entity, be it human or not, relate. As for kinds of love, I love my many brothers. It's definitely not romantic. They're my brothers by adoption. So what by adoption? The pipe is holy. Therefore, the adoption is spiritual. And is far more involved and is in far more depth than if it were the white man way on paper. I love my dog, it's not romantic. I love cats, it's not romantic. I love horses, it's not romantic. I love our Holy Mother the Earth, it's definitely not romantic. I have a handful of sisters that I like considerably in a couple of cases, and some that I'm stuck with. Well, I'm sure they feel mutual about it with regard to me. And I have a few, very few, that I'm really, really fond of and close to. But it's not romantic, not in the tiniest bit. The last man I was head over heels, honest to God, crazy about, in love with, romantically, was 25 years ago. Until last year. And this man and I danced the pussyfoot a great deal. And we're still defining the form of our relationship. But at the heart of it is this truth, taught to me in 1994 by my dear sister Linda's father, Johnson Lasthorse, who was 85 at the time. Johnson and I had had some really interesting conversations after Linda died. Early on, she was only about 42 or 43, from an extremely rare infection. It's so rare that there might be 100 to 150 cases a year in the United States, and an MD really has to know what he or she is looking for in order to order the tests. The treatment is extremely simple. The infection that killed my sister Linda came from a common bacterium in the gut called Mycobacterium avum. And almost 100% of the time, it's benign. But every once in a while, for reasons nobody knows, it goes crazy. And it kills a person. They killed my sister Linda. But Johnson and I were discussing some things. And we were in his house. And he told me that he had fallen in love with me and he wanted to marry me. And I, at the time, was far more ignorant about love and relationships than I have since become. And I said, well, Johnson, that's wonderful and I'm honored, and I love you, but I don't love you the way a woman should love a man. And I don't think I can figure out how. And that wouldn't be fair to either of us. And he said, my girl, love is not a barter thing. It's not, I'll love you if you'll love me. Love is a gift to the lover and the loved. If there were truer words that have ever been spoken about human interactions and relationships, I don't know what they'd be. Love, regardless of whether it's romantic or not, and it was in this case, is definitely not a barter thing. And I thought you need to know that and think about that. Maybe I'll talk more about it another time. Thanks for listening. We'll talk later.